Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Inner Health Project. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, and I'm here with your host, Hannah Getty. Hello, Hannah Getty.
Hello, Chris.
You're doing it again. Here we go.
Yes.
I feel like that introduction was very amped in energy based on where our conversation might go.
I know, right?
Rah, monster truck rally, and let's talk about quality relationships. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't have to go down.
I know, right? It doesn't. No, in fact, it's like the whole point of sharing this is so that it goes up. But I think sometimes we are talking about quality relationships today in this episode, and I think that it's a hard conversation because if we realize that there are some relationships around us that aren't the quality we want, then it brings up the whole like, what do I do with that? How do I have the conversation? How do I move past it? But I'm jumping ahead of myself. So let's just kind of create backstory.
Right.
Like, why are we talking about the quality of relationships?
I think it's important to realize that you can set up boundaries with people, and you have the option of saying no, or this isn't right for me right now. And I think it's finding the qualities that are going to help uplift you or help you become a better person. Having a quality relationship is going to energize you. And I think that's why it's important to be around people that help you be your best self.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that it's easy in life, especially, we've talked about being busy, and we go about life and we kind of, I think we fall into some relationships. We end up falling into people around us, and it's convenient. And maybe there's something that connected us in the beginning, and then we just keep connecting. But over time, it's kind of like, I can find myself not checking into those, right? Like,
yeah,
the quality of them, and just being like, oh yeah, that's just the way it is.
Right. And maybe when you first met, it was great. The quality for you at that time was what you needed.
Yeah, that's good.
But you evolve as people. You're on a journey. Everybody's got their own experiences and things that they need to learn. So when people come into your life, I think they come into your life for you to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've already learned the lesson from them, and it's not a uplifting type of relationship, or you're feeling heavy or drained from it, or you just don't enjoy it anymore. Yeah. I mean, I think you've learned what you need to learn, and you can give yourself permission to move on. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person or you're too good for them. It just means that your relationship no longer serves you or them. Like it's time to move on.
I was going to ask if there were, what kind of pushback on this would you sort of anticipate? Like, what kind of feedback or limiting beliefs or excuse, like what would people say in response to what we're saying right now, do you think?
In terms of like the person that you're going to say no to, or
no, I'm just like somebody listening to this who's like, oh, Hannah, I could never do that. Like love is forgiving. Love understands everybody. And if I were being loving, what I would do is I would stay in this relationship and just give them more understanding. Well,
what about being loving to yourself?
Yeah.
I think you got to put yourself first. It's not being selfish. And we've talked about this in the past. It's being kind to yourself and giving loving kindness. And if you don't put yourself first, if you don't treat yourself right in the way you want to be treated, nobody else is going to do that. They're gonna read that. They're gonna see how you treat yourself and treat you the same. Right.
I think there's a lot of it's interesting because I've isolated myself fairly well. I don't come off that way. I'm not like the weird guy in the basement who doesn't get any sunlight, but I have found some very maybe culturally acceptable ways to isolate myself because people can just annoy me. Right now, I'm not saying that that's healthy. I'm just saying like, I'm just being real about how I did it. Like in the beginning, I think I let people take advantage of me, and I just would stay in relationships or friendships or or romantic, whatever. I would just stay in relationships because I'm a team player, right? And then, and now the flip side of that now is my pendulum swung the other way, and I'm just like, I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody. So I'm not sure that that's great either, but
yeah, you kind of need a balance there. And
yeah,
what came up for me as you were sharing was, I think some people might stay in a relationship because they feel like they're not worthy of something better. Like that might be a limiting belief that they hold on to, or they're just not good enough for a better relationship, or this is just the way it is and I've accepted it.
Ooh.
And
wow, that's so good.
I think if you're not finding joy or being uplifted or becoming a better version of yourself through other people and the interactions you have with them, then that's not serving you, and it's just tearing you down, and it's so heavy in the body, so heavy in your life. And yeah, it might be a while. You might have to work through some stuff to feel worthy of what you actually desire to have in your life.
This is why you had said, like, here's what I'm thinking for the show. And I was like, this is so good because this will help so many people. I've already said my piece about, how I am about relationships, and there's some work for me to do, but I just know like there's a lot of, and when you talk about like loving yourself and there's some work to do, I think it's terrifying to think of letting a relationship go. And then who would I have to be, or who do I have to become? Who do I have to know myself as in order to get on in life, that where I've been leaning on this relationship as a crutch, or I've been leaning on this relationship for whatever, validation that I'm good enough or whatever. And now I'm saying that I'm worthy of more. Like, I don't know. Am I? How do I don't even know what that would look like. And that paralyzes people, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't, that's a tough one. How do you answer that? I think everybody has to dig in deep and figure out their own path through it.
Yeah. I think you're right.
For me though, I go with like my gut feeling, and how do I feel in this connection, relationship, whatever. It's like your intuition. I'm just feeling it. And then I think, am I learning from this? Is there something that I'm supposed to learn? And is what I'm supposed to learn that I can let go of it, that I can walk away from it, that I can create a boundary, that I can stand in my power and be confident and say, you know what? I don't need this. I'm going to walk away, and that's going to open up space for somebody who's worthy, or, well, I don't want to say worthy, but who is going to fit me better, who is of a higher quality.
Right.
And I'm not saying that other person is bad, or
right.
They are who they are, and they serve me in that moment, and I serve them. But now it's time for me to level up. It's time for me to elevate my vibration and learn something new from somebody else.
It's beautiful. I just got that with your company name, Elevate Us, right? Like,
yes.
Like, I think relationships elevate us if they are quality relationships, and if they're not quality relationships, there's no elevation. There's no, right? It keeps us kind of suppressed, I think.
Yeah. And if we're not continually learning and growing, we're stagnant. And I think people get bored, and then they get complacent, and then they don't have passion, and then their life just passes them by. And there's so much more that they have to offer this world, and there's so much more that they could teach others, but because they decided not to do the inner work, and it's hard, I know, but because they decided to let that part go, they're doing us a disservice, because we need to learn from you as well, you know?
Yeah.
We need to see your gifts in this world.
Mm. Mm. You said earlier, creating space. Like, I think that's part of it. Like, this can be, if you listening to this have relationships in your life where you, and it could be family relationships, it could be friendships, it could be romantic relationships, whatever it is. But if this is resonating with you, you're like, I feel like you're talking to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You don't have to like sever the relationship tomorrow and like figure out who you are tomorrow. And like, it's just, but that you see it is sometimes enough space to let it breathe. Like, you're like, oh, I see that I could be worthy of more than this. I could have a better quality relationship that elevates me. And it's not this. And that you see it, just that you see it might be enough space to plant a seed and let it breathe so that you can start to lean into what you're worthy of, like what you really desire.
Right. Yeah. That bringing that awareness in. And, family is a hard thing. It's hard to just walk away from family or friends that you've known for a long time. And maybe you don't completely cut them out of your life. But once you have awareness to, well, this relationship really isn't serving me the way that I would like it to, you can still put a boundary around it. You could still maybe limit your time or limit the energy you put into it. Maybe if it's draining to you, you can create how you want to show up for that relationship. And you don't have to eliminate it, but you can allow it to be how you would like it to be. Or you can show up how you want it to show up.
Yeah, totally.
So
what I have two questions. One is like, what are the qualities of quality in relationships? Like, what are the characteristics of a quality relationship? And then and I want to say this just before I forget it so we can circle back. I was on Facebook the other day and I saw somebody had posted that they had moved, I think, from California to my home to where I live now. And they had said, like, when they were leaving, so many of their friends and family were like, oh, don't go. We're going to miss you so much. This is a mistake. I don't think this is the right thing you should do. And now they've been up here for 2 years. And none of those people who had an opinion about them moving have reached out to them. Right. So it's like, there are people in your life who are going to tell you all sorts of things like, don't go. I don't think this is right for you. They have all sorts of opinions. And then when you go, they sort of like have nothing to say. Right. You're like, well, thanks for that. I guess that wasn't really as important as you made it seem,
Right. So it sounds like they had selfish reasons for them not to leave. Like a true friend, a true somebody who's really got your best interest at heart is going to uplift you and want to help you on your journey. And if that means that they support you and help you move away and have, you're not going to see them as much, then that's how you help each other. Yeah. I think that if people are just giving you lip service and they're not actually showing up in your life the way that a good friend should show up or a good relationship should be, then you just kind of have to figure that out. I don't have like 3 steps to figuring out if these people are true friends or not. I don't. Right. I mean, that's something I struggle with. I think we all struggle with it. Yeah. But I think, tuning into how you feel around people, how what they say makes you feel. Yeah. Again, just bringing more awareness, maybe getting a different perspective from other people. Those are some things I think that can help get you out of your head. Maybe journal about it, Yep.
Yeah. I think too, if we went back to the characteristics of a quality relationship or what is quality, I think values, like if you get it, there's so much self-awareness. That's why this is such a good conversation for inner health. Like your self-awareness of what you value will help you make better decisions about the people and the boundaries you set and the people you let pass those boundaries. Right. Like, I used to just love everybody. I love everybody. And I was spazzy about it and hyper and it was fine. Like it was fine, but I let a lot of people pass my boundaries. And as I started to go further down life, I think I value deep conversations and I don't have time for small talk. Like I don't really care about small talk. What I want is like I'm going to invest time in a relationship, I want you to have something intelligent and wise to say, or that at least that you think about life. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need to talk about sports. Sports are like a dead end for me. I'm like, if that's what you like to talk about all the time, this isn't going to work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They have to share the same values, and you have to feel like you're giving, what you're getting is what you're giving and getting back is equal, or it's bringing you, you know, when you have a really good conversation with somebody,
Yeah.
it just like brightens up your day. It just
Yep.
fills you with joy, and it just makes you feel like, gosh, you know what? This world is awesome. Like, there's so many awesome opportunities, and it just enlivens you. And I think you just have to go with what you gravitate towards, what brings you joy,
Yeah.
what inspires you. I think that's what makes a good relationship, is you inspiring someone and them inspiring you back, and you play off of each other, and it just flows and it comes out, and you feel energized, and the energy is light, it's not heavy. And yeah, there might be some times when you have, you know, deeper issues that you have to work through, or whatever. But I'd say in general, on the whole, it's an experience that you treasure and you cherish, and it makes you smile.
So good. I love that. I love that. That's perfect. I mean, yeah, by definition, I mean, like that describes a quality relationship. Like, what if your life was surrounded by that? And like, every time you interacted with the people that you chose to interact with, that's how it left you. You were like, I'm inspired. Like, I love life. I love people.
Right. Right.
So good. I think that we don't always think of relationships as something we get to choose. Like, you know, like if you could go shopping and you can choose the food you buy, but you don't always get to choose who your family is, or, you know, I mean, how do I choose a friend? I don't put out a personal Craigslist ad saying like, a single, married white male looking for a friend, a male friend who likes to play basketball, talks deep about life. And right. I mean,
well, you could. I mean, you don't have to put it on Craigslist, but you could.
I suppose I could.
You could put this out into the world, in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, if that's truly
That's
what
good.
you're looking for, you could put that out there.
I get that.
You know, we do that when we're trying to find a mate. We're dating. We tell the whole world. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody. You know, why not tell the universe that you're looking for this kind of relationship, these kind of people to show up in your life. This is what you would like to see in your world.
So good. I think too, to your point of like, when you have those conversations in life that you're like, oh, I loved that conversation. And whenever I talk to that person, always seems to be a good conversation. And I think if you could like dissect what you think made that great, it would actually give you a list of qualities. You'd be like, they're a good listener. They laugh at my jokes. They, whatever, but you would come up with your own list. Every one of you listening to this would have your own list about what makes quality. And then you could put, to your point, you can put that out in the world.
Right. So maybe that's a good exercise for people who are listening to, if you want to have deeper, better relationships in your life, think back to those good conversations, those good relationships you've had, and make a list of the qualities that you find and the values that you have that you want to see in people, and put out an ad.
That's great. Put out an ad. I love it. I dare you all to do that. Listening to this. Do that. It's really good. I think, when we, who we are is who we attract. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes if what you put out in the world are the kinds of conversations you want to have, you'll find more people that are interested in those conversations finding you, just because that's the frequency you're putting out. Like, you're talking about health, Hannah's talking about health. And by you talking about health, you'll attract more people who are actually interested in this conversation of health versus something else, like, I just think that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like giving first to get back. It's not like you're giving just to get something back in return, but you're giving what you want to receive.
Totally.
You have to do it first.
Have you heard your vibe attracts your tribe?
Maybe you said that before.
It's not my quote, but I love it because your vibe does attract your tribe. Like whatever you put out there to this conversation, like, the right people will respond. So, well, this is fantastic. I love this. I really think that a lot of times when we think of inner health, we're thinking of like exercise and diet, and relationships are one of the things that we physically carry in our bodies, as you said. And it creates a lot of stress. And a lot of times we don't think of that when we think of health,
Right.
So,
Well, they're part of your environment. They're there every day, or at work, at home.
yeah,
it's a part of your life. So we got to take notice. We got to be aware.
I love it. Well, speaking of that, if people want to reach out to you because they have been carrying all sorts of stress in their body from toxic relationships and they need a massage, or they just want to reach out and continue this conversation because this is the kind of conversation they want to have in life with people like you, how can people reach you?
You can go to innerhealthproject.com or search Inner Health Project on Facebook and YouTube, and you can watch all the videos that way and connect with me there.
Good stuff, Hannah. Thanks for continuing to champion this conversation of inner health. I feel there's an awakening happening, and this is perfect timing. So good stuff, Hannah. Catch you next time.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Bye.